The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Maggie Forcigaro. In the news tonight, street vendors at the Havana four-way set up businesses in the road. Homeless man denied bail after stabbing friend. Northern regions record low mahangu production. And round up business on one, comments corner, sport and the weather. Street vendors operating at the Havana four-way took matters into their own hands and reopened the former Monte Cristo Road, which has been closed off to make way for road construction leading to Ongos Valley. As a result, the vendors have set up their businesses on the road.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Street vendors operating at the Havana Informal Settlement four-way stop claimed they resorted to reopening the road after waiting for 6 months for construction leading to Ongos Valley to begin. The vendors leveled the heap of sand that had closed off the busy road, stating that their businesses were making a loss. The city of Windhoek had moved these vendors to a different site in order to make way for road construction. However, these vendors moved back in the road in order to make way for the road construction. About 300 homes near the road were also relocated.
Since the octagon was crossing our lots, and the reason they crossing the lot, they said they are busy with the lots. We're waiting for more than 6 months, but they didn't yet coming to start working the roads. Now that's why you see car, they are just parking where they send it was. Community they remove the sand because they are tired of waiting for the octagon to finish the roads. We was waiting for them a piece of paper to give us a date when they are coming to starting working their road and when it's and how long it will start or it will take. But until today we didn't saw any notification. We didn't saw any answer from them, and even though to the municipality, not yet. Since the community opened the roads, they didn't yet coming. We don't know what is going on. We don't know if we can still standing like Oshikango, Matara. We don't know. Understand now. People they are sitting on the road. Even accidents can happen anytime. No, we are no more safe. We are no more. There's no more two line in the roads. It's only one way now. And therefore, as you see the car, they are moving. Car, they are moving very difficulty because it's only one way. The other way, people, they are sitting on the other way for the road, for the car to move on. As you see them, they are sitting until there.
The councillor for the Moses Karib constituency, Aile Venona, said that the situation at the four-way of Havana is worrisome. Venona stated that she has sent some of her representatives to the city of Windhoek as well as contacted Ongos Valley managers to discuss the way forward.
They called me on May and give me a letter to submit it to municipality, and I did it. That time the Havana 4 was closed. I submitted, I spoke to the mayor, I spoke to the acting chief executive, until the time the community gets tired and they open the road on their own power. As I'm talking now, the Havana 4-way, people are now selling everywhere. There's no more control. People are coming from different constituencies, just come and sell it the way they want it. There have been a committee at that road who were putting the people on order that you stand here to sell. If the clothes are this side, and then some of the tomato and what they must be another side. So the car can also pass through to go where they have to go. But the big problem now at that road, as I'm talking, there's no more control. Each and everyone have got power. Especially those people, the brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe, they don't want to listen. To go and listen because they're having a meeting with the municipality and the Ongos. I think the supervisor who supervised the road and the people who are working that road. I think we are waiting for the result.
City of Windhoek spokesperson Harold Akwenya said that it is unacceptable that street vendors are operating in the road. He said this is dangerous due to lack of proper traffic flow.
Yes, the road, as I said, was closed off due to the construction of that piece of road that leads to Ongos Valley, and therefore that portion of the 4-way needed to be closed off, because north of that 4-way is where the road leads to Monte Cristo. But yes, after some public consultation, to open the road due to the fact that construction has halted due to Ongos Valley still busy on further down the road. So we granted this opening of the road for road use. But what we've realized later on is that the vendors that were moved to make way for the construction moved back to their original place. But the thing that happened is that they didn't come to the old space that they were using. They came in the road itself, in the road reserve was where they used to operate. But at this point in time, they came to operate in the road itself, which is honestly unacceptable. The fact that there's no traffic, if something happens, it's also the danger there of where vehicles are operating up and down. So yes, we are starting with our yearly public meetings, which is starting next week, actually this week, not next week. So it's a topic that we will be discussing with the residents, especially those vendors within the road, to vacate that place and move back to where they were allocated that spot.
Akwenya further stated people should follow the municipal bylaws and not take the matters into their own hands, pleading with vendors to stop operating on the road.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
mpaka tuyadha otuli pamwe nangoe mompombo ya mainyanyudho ote ea mukuru okuzangenea totere mombo omaovigali nkweigiali omurunga radio ogwakala nokukundaneka okunyanyudha nokuyakuroshigwane omurunga radio yotango monamibia.
There are different types of decisions, such as rational, habitual, impulsive, and coin tossing.
Let's get started.
The consumption of poultry containing food poisoning organisms such as salmonella, but the danger to health can be dramatically reduced.
What about other organisms in the animal kingdom? Well, some animals are ectothermic.
Welcome to Lesson 5 for Grade 10 and 11 Mathematics.
Methodologies and approaches in order to produce relevant and suitable results.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with Nola Mayonnaise for just $26.99 and Huggies Dry Comfort Nappies Value Pack for only $144.99. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
A 31-year-old man who stabbed a fellow homeless to death following an altercation over a cell phone was denied bail after appearing in the Karatura Magistrates Court. The suspect, Gideon Eric Hansen, was on the run since Sunday when he stabbed a fellow homeless man identified as Jackie Wesley Kluter at Commersdal Soccer Stadium.
The two men are among the homeless people who were moved to the stadium at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020. Hansen was arrested on Tuesday afternoon after disappearing on Sunday when he stabbed Kluter. Hansen's case is postponed to the 8th of September. According to Nampol Koma's regional commander Ismail Basson, the 31-year-old allegedly stabbed his friend as a result of a fight over a cell phone. Commissioner Basson stated that the deceased, who died on the scene, had a knife that fell during the fight, which the suspect used to stab him in his abdomen.
Around 12 somewhere, where two homeless boys stabbed each other. I mean, not each other, but it started actually because of a cell phone. And the cell phone, they have one central point where they are charging the cell phones, where they are charging their cell phones, and then the deceased now wanted now to go and get that particular cell phone. Whereas the suspect then he said no. So they are like chasing each other, facing where the cell phone was charged, and then at the cell phone, after he picked up the cell phone, the deceased was having a knife himself. So as they are now struggling over the phone, the knife fall from the deceased. In other words, when the knife fall, the suspect pick up that same knife and he stabbed the deceased in the abdomen, in the stomach, and he died 2-3 steps away from where he was stabbed. He sit down, and that is where he died. He was then declared dead on the scene. After stabbing the deceased, the suspect took the knife, he ran.
The Komas police spokesperson Sila Shipandeni gave an update yesterday stating that the suspect, who had been on the run, was arrested on Tuesday with the assistance of members of the public.
He was on the run all along, but then we managed to caught him yesterday. He was arrested yesterday at the same particular venue, Commersdal Soccer Stadium, of which obviously we received the cooperation of the public member or people that are staying there. They happened to give us that tip of until to a point that we came to arrest him at the same spot where the incident happened, of course. Not necessarily at the scene, but it's within the same vicinity. So he was arrested yesterday, the 19th of July this year, which is around 2 o'clock. Yeah, actually, since they were witnesses, the same information that we got from the witness, he confirmed to say yes, there was a phone incident, but he did not reveal that much. So it's an investigation that have to be taken or that have to take place. But then, like I said, he's already charged. We have witnessed in this particular case, and I think that's what led us to go and even arrest him. As much as he was on the run, we managed to arrest him because of the assistance of those that were there, those that knows him, of course.
He is scheduled to appear in court for the second time on September the 8th.
Flames when it comes to synergizing those brands. Plus, we're touching base with 4x4 Too Much Power's Fofa Mandende, who's here to tell us all about the 20-year anniversary that will be kickstarting very soon. All this and so much more exclusive to the Tribe on One Africa TV.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
Research by the University of Namibia has found that there has been a decrease in mahango yields in the northern areas over the past 3 years, raising concerns when it comes to the country's efforts in improving food security. This information was shared with communal farmers in the Zambezi region at an event held in collaboration with the Namibia Agronomic Board and the Zambezi Vocational Training Center.
According to the University of Namibia's Professor Rhoda Birech, mahango has long been the key food security crop in Namibia. However, recent drops in yield production figures is a concern due to the impact that it has on food security.
So, we know also the region where we are now, sometimes the rainfall is not enough. So another aspect also which is challenging the crop is time of planting. Because you may plant and the rain has passed, and then, or maybe the rain comes later when you don't need it. So climate change, variety access, fertility, and high quality seed are the challenges affecting mahango. Nevertheless, the three institutions, UNAM, NAB, and the host, which is Zambezi VTC, have tried their best to set up experiments here. We have here 12 varieties of mahango. Last year there were 26 varieties. So we tested all of them under these conditions and we selected 12. So the 12 have been planted here. Out of the 12, 3 are locally planted in Namibia already, and 9 are new varieties from ICRISAT. ICRISAT is International Center for Research in Semi-Arid Tropics. So these varieties we planted here in 4 replications, and they were planted the same number of seeds, the same day, the same fertilizer. We applied DAP at planting, and we've been monitoring the crop to receive the same treatment. During bird scaring time, we scared the birds equally, and we had one variety, kankara, at the fence to prevent the birds from entering. If the birds come, they start eating what is at the fence before they enter the experiment. And today is a Farmers Information Day before harvesting. Farmers Information Day, we invite farmers to come and see the project we are running, and to be able to also help in the selection of the varieties. Because now we have 12 varieties. 3 are already in the Namibian sector and 9 are new. So of the 9, we ask the farmers to go around plot by plot and give marks. What do you think about this variety in terms of the size of the head, the thickness of the head, the grains, the compaction? Even the varieties which are easily not eaten by birds, the ones which are easily eaten by birds, and the farmers are able to score and say, this variety I'll give it 5, which is the maximum, or 4, which is very good, or 3, which is good, or 2, which is fair or average, or 1, which is very poor.
Pirech said they have discovered some negligence on the side of farmers that is also adding to the decrease in yields. Agricultural technician with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Victor Mainga Kamwi, added that farmers need to make more informed decisions when it comes to the products they use as fertilizer and not only focus on harvesting.
This type of events, they are very important to our country because we are talking about food security and safety in the country, particularly to the farmer. So this field day is very important because it demonstrates to the farmer how much information for them to have so that they can take the information for so important that when they are making a decision, they must make those informed decisions onto which type of variety they must use in order to counter the challenges that we are foreseeing in our times, such as climate change, such as limited grain supplies due to other factors that are happening around the globe. So for the farmer themselves to come and see this, they will have an idea, given those circumstances, given those factors, they will be able to choose which variety suits in their environment, in their farms, in order to get that yield.
Kamwe stated that the intention of the information sharing project is to sensitize farmers on the importance of applying the correct methods to achieve good quality mahango yields for local consumption as well as export.
the world. So we are going to a place where lots of goodies and cookies, lots of cakes and everything. This is your passion?
Yes, I love this.
Not baking. What would you have been doing?
I would be sitting in the office.
So you guys should come through. If you guys are lazy to cook, now you know where to find some meals.
Guys, order and let us support our locals, guys. Yes. It's very, very important. Guys, and our cake is very, very nice. It's very addictive. It's not even a joke.
Wow.
Is it safe? Can you check? Huh?
It's on me hard, bro.
Choose boldness and celebrate the skin you're in with Nivea Rich Nourishing. Our triple layered care of deep moisture serum, natural almond oil, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Choose to wear your skin with pride with Nivea Rich Nourishing.
In other leading stories, the Namibia Media Professionals Union NAMPO sent out a statement this week noting that it has observed with concern the growing practice of bullying and intimidation of journalists by politicians, stating that incidences of cyberbullying and intimidation of journalists last week when Windhoek Mayor and Landless People's Movement member Sarah Governors took to social media to express her views regarding an article in which she appeared, which would further intimidate the reporter. The union noted that they regard this as an attempt to intimidate and bully journalists from freely doing their work. They condemn the bullying behavior and attempts by politicians to interfere with the work of journalists, describing the behavior as distasteful, malicious, and unacceptable. NAMPO called on politicians and public actors to respect the rights and work of journalists and allow them to carry out their work safely without interference and free from intimidation or fear of any form of attack.
Nowadays I'm rapping for my core fans.
Hi Tahola, Namibia, Matisa. Join me, Shea Ulenga, this week on The Tribe, exclusive to One Africa TV, as we talk to Namibian award-winning hip-hop artist Script, who just got back from the Cotton Fest and is on flames when it comes to synergizing those brands. Plus, we're touching base with 4x4 Too Much Power's Fofa Mandende, who's here to tell us all about the 20-year anniversary that will be kickstarting very soon. All this and so much more exclusive to The Tribe on One Africa TV. Joseph Chifeni is standing by for Business on One.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. The Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund, NSFAF, has dismissed claims that $148 million paid to local universities could not be verified and accounted for. NSFAF Acting Chief Executive Officer Kennedy Kandume stated that all payments made by the institution are legitimate and properly accounted for.
NSFAF Acting Chief Executive Officer Kennedy Kandume clarified a media report published this week that the fund could not account for $148 million Namibian in student funding at various higher learning institutions. Kandume stated that the Auditor General's finding does not imply recklessness on their part, but rather advises that the matching list should be accompanied by a normal invoice in PDF and signed.
During the audit of the financial year concerned, that is 2020-2021, the Auditor General, during their audits of our records and books, discovered that the invoice that we are receiving from the institution of higher learning is in Excel format. And they would like the fund to change the format of that invoice, or to advise the institution of higher learning who was sending that invoice to us in that format, to change it to, I don't know whether to call it now, a proper invoice, or to something in PDF that is signed off and so on. But at no point did they say that money is lost. We had been doing receiving that information for a reason that is easy for us to match. You get an invoice from institution of higher learning indicating a name of a student and an ID number with our amount database. It's as easy as that, and it pick up if, for example, one of the spreadsheet. Subsequent to that findings, we then agreed with the Auditor General that we are going to change the format. Going forward, we will be advising institution of higher learning to submit, in addition to the Excel format, a PDF and signed invoice. It is as simple as that. There's no money that disappeared. 148 million that has been spoken to or published by New Era. That is the total amount on that invoice. And it does not say it disappeared.
Kandume further clarified claims of the fund paying two CEOs, saying that the fund only has one substantive CEO, Hilyangi Wete, who is currently not engaged at the fund, pending the finalization of a labor matter between Wete and the fund. He further said they are addressing the issue of students overpaid with 5,000 Namibian dollars in non-tuition fees, which will be deducted from each of the 14 students' 2022 non-tuition fees.
The board has appointed an acting person, which is myself, to take care of the institution while the labor matter is logically being concluded. The fund is only paying a salary of one substantive CEO. But of course, in terms of the fund's policy, the person acting is then remunerated or given acting allowance as per the fund remuneration policy. There's a difference, I think, between a substantive CEO being remunerated the CEO's salary and somebody merely just getting an acting allowance as a token of appreciation for the work that they are performing in the meantime.
The fund says it recently completed the electronic capturing of students' historical records for a period 1990 to 2019, adding that it is busy cleaning up the captured records, calculating interest, and separating matured and unmatured loans.
The clock has struck for your daily business and financial news update. Brought to you by The Brief.
Namibia says it has no debt problem and dismissed a recently published sovereign debt vulnerability index published by Visual Capitalist and further distributed on Bloomberg, saying the methodology used was incoherent and misleading. The Visual Capitalist survey ranked Namibia among the top 10 countries out of 25 in the world with the biggest default risk. The Finance Ministry said that they have reviewed the various indicators that constitute the index, namely government bond yield, credit default swap spread, interest expense and government debt, and that they find the methodology utilized by the author to rank the countries incoherent and misleading, adding that it is unclear to them the weights applied to each indicator and subsequently the impact of each indicator on the ultimate country ranking in the index. The Treasury therefore does not concur that Namibia is one of the countries ranked high on default risk in 2022. The Government Department, despite acknowledging the increase in the ratio of public debt as a cause of concern, was quick to point out that the current public debt levels do not pose a default risk. Standard Bank says former Oshakati Mayor Katrina Shimbulu failed to fulfill all obligations to purchase a 4,000-hectare farm from the bank. This was after Shimbulu had approached the Windhoek High Court seeking to set aside an advert in which the bank and the deputy sheriff of Ocho wanted to sell the farm, which she claims she paid over $700,000 in 2019. Standard Bank and the deputy, through their lawyer Patrick Kota, said Shimbulu's particulars of claim do not disclose a course of action, nor do they make the necessary allegation to sustain a course of action. They contend that the claim must be clear as to what the facts are that are pleaded in support of the legal claim. Kota argued that it is clear that the waiver was obtained on the 8th of October 2020. Consequently, the purchase price became due and payable on the 8th of October 2020 or within 14 days from the 8th of October, adding that the plaintiff fails to plead that she furnished the deputy sheriff with a bank guarantee approved by Standard Bank's attorney within 14 days from the date of obtaining the waiver. South Africa's annual consumer inflation spiked to 7.4% in June from 6.5% in May, Stats SA reported on Wednesday. The June rate is the highest inflation recorded since May 2019, which was at 8%, following the global financial crisis. Consumer prices increased by 1.1% from May to June, reflecting much pricier fuel. Fuel prices were 45% higher in June than the year before, the biggest increase on record. Prices of food and non-alcoholic beverages surged by 8% year-on-year in June. Stats SA says this is the highest rate since March 2017, when South Africa was hit by a severe drought. Bread and cereal products were 11% more expensive than a year before. In a single month, maize meal prices rose by 5%, while prices for brown bread 3% and macaroni at 3% also rocketed. Meat prices increased by 9% in the year to June, with bologna 19% more expensive than a year ago, Stats SA reported. Prices for oils and fats were almost 33% higher than a year before. Inflation is now far above the South African Reserve Bank's inflation target range of between 4% to 6% and may convince the Monetary Policy Committee to hike interest rates by a heftier margin on Thursday. The consensus expectation is a hike of at least 50 basis points, while some economists think a 75 basis point increase is likely.
This was your daily Namibian business and financial news update. For in-depth stories, read more on thebrief.com.na now.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product, swipe your Spar Rewards card, and go big with 5 Roses tagless tea bags, 100s for just $41.99, and Baker's Eat Some More biscuits for only $20.99. Win your shopping instantly, only at Spar.
and responsible farming practices must be part of the answer to the challenge of sustainability. But is science moving quickly enough to fulfill the needs of humanity?
The main reason why it's at this height is for the harvester comfort. So right now in California, we have a labor shortage. There is not as many people who want to do the work of harvesting strawberries. It's really hard.
I think one of the differences between being an indoor farmer and an outdoor farmer, in a greenhouse in particular, we try and take advantage of the best of both worlds.
I would say, either someone has got a family characteristic that they just say, you know what? It's a female that says, I don't want my dad's nose.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty obvious, and we'll get you back there and get it all fixed for you, okay?
Now we look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. A 36-year-old man who owns a printing shop in Koreangab informal settlement was arrested for allegedly forging COVID-19 vaccination cards and selling them to members of the public who are seeking employment in the Namibian Defence Force. The suspect was arrested after a tip-off on Tuesday afternoon at his printing shop where he sold the forged cards for $500 Namibia. Buti says the man was reported for trying to help others get employment. Salonika prefers taking the job rather than paying $500 Namibia. Boa said the suspect should be given the tender to supply the government since he is charging less. Don says they are being told to create their own employment. Kalumbu says he should be left alone to hustle. Tiger says where there is a will, there is a way. While Don says, well done, Nampol. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Win free airtime with Learn on One. Tell us what's your favorite subject on Learn on One and win $50 airtime. SMS your answer, name, age, and the town you live in to 555. Standard T's and C's and SMS rates apply. Learn on One. Invite learning in.
Honestly, I've never been so anxious to flip a card.
In your whole life?
My whole entire life. I think it's because I'm probably used to
you used to having the information in
advance. I'm like, I know what I'm going to ask her more. Now I'm on the other side and I'm just like, can we just... And I can't flip the card up until it's my turn, right? Yeah. Let's have a conversation.
I think for me, art is important.
Ooh.
Art is everything. But I think first of all, it's important.
I think again, it's about being a nice person, isn't it? Just because somebody's being nasty to you on the road, or you don't necessarily have to be the same as them.
Always we're told you needed to have X, Y, and Z. Like at school already, they're telling you what do you want to be. You're like, I don't even know what I'm now. I'm going to know what I'm then. I like football. Relax. Let me just get through today.
This is a nice question.
Okay. Is it about?
No, I wish it was. I wish it was about you, but it's not.
Castro Ulumbu is standing by for Sport on One.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host, Castro Ulumbu. Parates Telecommunications Namibia announced a 3-year sponsorship to the Rotary Club at an amount of 260,000 Namibia dollars to host this year's event. Rotary Club Windhoek has been hosting the cycling event since 1999, which is considered a family sport and has attracted interest from the public over the years. Announcing the 3-year sponsorship towards the Rotary Club Windhoek as the official title sponsor, Parates Telecommunications Namibia Managing Director Andrew Hall explained that the company has seen the event grow annually. He added that sponsoring the event also aligns with the company's social investment initiative, which aims at supporting local communities in sport, youth development and education.
Being a keen cyclist myself, I'm very, very excited for the Parates brand to be associated with this very prestigious event. We are also very honored to be part of this 3-year partnership together with the Rotary Club and the Namibian hosting the Cycle Classic. And I can assure you, you've got our utmost commitment of the entire team to make this a successful event and take it to new heights. And so having said that, I hope I'm going to see all of you on your bicycles taking part in the event.
Rotary Club Windhoek President Rainer Ritter and the Namibian Chief Editor Tangeni Amupadi both welcomed the sponsorship from Parates Namibia, especially with various challenges faced without an official sponsor following the withdrawal of Pick n Pay Namibia in 2019.
We as a Rotary Club, we feel proud to be associated with us. And thank you very much for assisting us. We had 2 difficult years in COVID, last year and the year before. You know, the whole economy was down, and now we get a new lifeblood also with this sponsorship for our club and the Cycle Classic.
This is a great launch. Thanks a lot, Parates, for coming on board, giving us this big push. The Cycle Classic, the Namibian Cycle Classic, now called Parates Namibian Cycle Classic, has been going for, can someone who doesn't know guess?
33 years.
Something like 23. This will be the 23rd edition. So we hope to go a long, long way with Parates. Thank you too for the Rotary Club for carrying this with us for many, many years.
Cycle Classic takes place on the 2nd weekend of October every year. The Classic comprises 2 cycle racing events in different distance categories, such as mountain bike and the road bike, as well as Kiddies Classic, which is also incorporated to promote cycling as a sport and for leisure purposes to youngsters. All funds raised by Rotary Club Windhoek from hosting of Cycle Classic goes towards funding community service projects and programs all over Namibia. This year's event will be the 23rd edition since its inception and is scheduled to take place on the 8th and the 9th of October 2022. Thank you for watching. Catch us again tomorrow for more updates on Sports on One.
Thanks a lot, Castro, for the latest in sport. Time now for the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm in the northeast, elsewhere sunny and mild to warm. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild to warm with fog patches in the morning in places. The wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Now a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures around the country and beyond.
Thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Don't forget to join us on our social media pages. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time. It's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are kwaito malo kukumona mboni uli slap. It's a fact if I come through. Oma kwaito meno kushuna koni masketa I can't do. 5 clip koka batu. Adu no problem angengo toshindo tosa ngwashike mokana. No look up. Lay back ngalo danje lay space. Stand straight toto popi nom samane nyoma mane. No kambale. Full time and it doesn't mbale takwa kandi freestyle. Big 5 zero kushikange nena shasho bully 5. First come get saved and I'm coming 5 times. Step man. Kuna shito nyingi shapo twist time and no se scared man. Big man Africa mene. Jim tale kochi palane. Walo kupena shapo manganje. Yes. Umsamane. Awe. 18. Anything around the bell? Quickly drop the beat, man. Quickly drop the beat. Then he's calling. Hello, Kubwe? I want to go get I'm back with the second best. Oskolo tandimana memi noti am the second best. Second chance. Oflow yini kekende. Shicha tuma kom kimi kashi nyengenje. Meme amusama nendine mpezi go chama noke yulu nope manda chekanje. I'm big like that, I'm 22 now. Level up to change meme tuna.